Imagine sitting at the dinner table with your family. Everyone is talking, everyone is laughing, but you notice something nobody else seems to notice. Your mother is angry. Your father is pretending everything is fine. Your siblings are staying quiet, and you're the only one wondering, why is everyone pretending? You ask a simple question. Suddenly, the room changes. Someone gets annoyed. Someone tells you to stop overthinking. And eventually, you learn. In your family, some questions are better left unasked. So you stop asking. You stop explaining yourself. You stop talking about your dreams. You stop telling them what you really think. Because somehow, every difference becomes another reason you're difficult, too sensitive, too independent, too emotional, too ambitious, too much. And after hearing those words for years, something changes. You stop wondering why they misunderstand you and start wondering what's wrong with you. Maybe they're right. Maybe I really am difficult. Maybe I should be more like everyone else. Maybe life would be easier if I just stopped being myself. But what if they weren't describing you? What if they were describing the version of you they couldn't control?
Because sometimes the child who becomes the family outsider isn't the worst child. They're simply the one who doesn't fit the family script. They question things. They want independence. They notice contradictions. They don't accept something just because someone says, that's how we've always done it. And that can make people uncomfortable. One person is the successful one. One is the responsible one. One is the quiet one. And then there's you. The one who doesn't quite fit. The one who asks why. The one who wants something different. The one who says, this doesn't feel right. And suddenly, you're the problem. Not necessarily because you created the problem, but because you made it impossible to ignore. That's the part that hurts. You spend years trying to become easier to love. You become quieter. You hide your ambitions. You apologize for your personality. You become an expert at reading everyone else's emotions, while ignoring your own. Until you don't know whether you're being yourself, or simply being the version of yourself that causes the least conflict.
But here's where the story changes. Being misunderstood doesn't mean you're wrong. Being different doesn't mean you're broken. And being the black sheep doesn't mean you were the bad one. Sometimes you were simply the first person who couldn't pretend anymore. The first person who wanted to choose their own path. And maybe that's why your family couldn't understand you. Not because something was wrong with you, but because understanding you would have forced them to question things they'd spent years avoiding. So maybe you've been asking the wrong question. Not what's wrong with me, but who would I have become if I had never believed there was something wrong with me? Because the child your family misunderstood may grow into the adult who finally understands themselves. So tell me, what is one thing about you that your family never understood? Your ambition? Your sensitivity? Your independence? Or simply your desire to live differently? Maybe you weren't the child who didn't belong. Maybe you were simply the child who was never meant to become a copy of everyone else. And sometimes, the child a family couldn't understand becomes the adult who finally understands themselves.